right, guys, let's look at the second statement of this lesson called house floor plan. Here is a floor plan of a house. Approximate lengths of the walls are given. What is the approximate area of the home, including the balcony? Explain or show your reasoning. All right, guys, so what you're looking at is an image of a floor plan, which is like a two-dimensional drawing of a house floor plan, basically, okay? Those strong, bold lines will represent walls, and the small little swings right here, which I'm going to take that a pencil, will represent doors, okay? All right, but it wants us to find the area of this house, okay? Now, when I first looked at this image, I saw a bunch of numbers and I felt a bit overwhelmed. I'm not going to lie to you guys. All right, but there is a way we could solve this. So the first thing I want you to do at home is to grab a ruler or something with an edge. And what we're going to do is we're going to make a rectangle out of this shape that's given us for this floor plan. So here's what I mean by that. All right. I want to draw a line at the borders of each wall, I guess, like on the other side. Like say, for instance, this is the outside border. I'm going to draw a straight line. And then I want to move my ruler. And on the top of the kitchen wall, I'm going to draw a line going across the width. Then I'm going to do that for the other side. So here we go. You guys could be doing this at home. There we go. And here we go. All right. So now that I've created a rectangle around this shape, I want to find the new measurements of these new lengths that I just created. Now, before we even get started, you have to understand the construction of a rectangle, okay? Whatever one side is equivalent to, the other side will be equivalent to, okay? So the reason why I say this is because we need to find the new measurements. So when I look at this rectangle, and I'm going to highlight it in green, because this is a miniature rectangle, I need to understand that if this is 8 feet, then this will be 8 feet. Why is that imperative is that I want to add these two numbers together to figure out what's the length of this wall right here, or this side, so shall I say. Okay, so 26 plus 8 would give me 34 feet. Okay. So then on this side, which I want to go for the bottom to find the width, I see that this is 33 feet. And I also see this miniature triangle, not triangle, but rectangle right here. And just like what I told you guys, if this is 7 feet, then this would be 7 feet. And you want to ask yourself, well, what is 33 plus 7? If you guess 40 feet, you are absolutely correct. Okay? So now I have my two new measurements, or my new dimensions, and I have 34 times 40. That's how we find the area of this large rectangle. Okay? Now you may be wondering, Miss Randolph, what are we going to do about these areas with these missing pieces, like for right here and the two highlighted green rectangle? But just wait, I'm going to show you guys that next. Okay, so the area to find a rectangle, which I'm going to put that, the area to find a rectangle, our parallelogram would be length times width. All right. So what I want to do is I want to multiply 34 times 40. Now, when I multiply 34 times 40, I get 1,360. Okay, so that's the whole area of this whole shape that we created in red. Okay, so now if these pieces are missing, the ones that's highlighted, right, from this whole rectangle, what do you think I want to do? What do you think I want to do? What can I do? If you guess, we're going to subtract the areas of these missing shapes or the highlighted area from the total area. You are absolutely correct. So what I'm going to do for my miniature rectangles is that I'm going to be doing their area in green so we don't get confused on our work. So what I want to do is I want to multiply 12 times 8. All right, so the rectangle will be 12 times 8. But this is for this area right here. Okay, so it's the same as the area of the larger formula. So it's going to be 12 times 8, which is 96 feet squared. All right. So then for the smaller rectangle, it will be 7 times 5.5, which would give me, now if we had to tie in that warm up, we'll say 7 times 5 is 35. And half of 7, which 7 times 0.5 would give me 3.5. And you can add those two results so you get 38 and a half. Okay, that's just basically tying in that warm up. Okay, so it'll be feet squared, and I totally forgot to put feet squared right here as well. Feet squared. And make sure I'm going to circle those numbers. Understand. Go back. I'm going to circle these answers, okay? So then when I get to this area, which this is we're talking about the blue area right here. What shape do you see? Or what shape do you kind of see? Because we might have to try to make a shape out of that. What shape do you kind of see? Do you see a square? A rectangle? Or maybe a triangle? If you guess triangle, you are absolutely correct. Which we could connect this whole balcony and we could form our triangle. Now, you have to understand how to find an area of a triangle, which would be area is equal to 1/2 times base times height. Okay? So we need to figure out, well, how can I find the length or the base of this triangle? Okay? So what we could do is, if this side is 40, then this side would be 40, correct? 40 feet. But what I can do is I could subtract from 40 the length that's given to me, which would be 12.5 plus 18.5 would be 20.5 or 20.5. I apologize about that. So the reason why I'm subtracting these two pieces or these two areas that's given is because I want to find the measurement of this line right here of the base of this triangle. Okay, so when I do that, 40, or let me put it down here so you guys see, the base would be 40 minus, and we already said that 12 and 8.5 is equivalent to 20.5 or 20.5, which will be 40 minus 20 and 5/10, which is 19.5. Okay, that would be the new base. Okay, So then I need to figure out, well, how can I find this length right here? Okay. So, or the height of this triangle. So I want to do the same thing I did to the other side. All right, I'm going to write it down here because if I write it in this area, and I apologize about that. So needless to say, we're going to find the height of this triangle. So what I want to do is I want to say, okay, 34. Now in this case, I have 9 and 5.5. So we're going to subtract that 9 plus 5.5, which, remember, this is what's given to us, because remember, you have to understand how rectangles are constructed. If this is 5.5, then this will be 5.5, which would give me 14.5. So when I subtract 14.5 from 34, I will still get 19.5. So this is 19.5 or 19.5. Now all I want to do is just plug it in. And remember, we're finding the area of this whole triangle that we created right here. We'll get to that balcony next. Okay? So 19, so it's going to be 1/2 times 19.5, or 19 times 50. And I'm going to exaggerate my multiplication symbols so you guys know that it's not a decimal. So let me under exaggerate the decimal. So this is a multiplication symbol. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 0 or 1/2. So 1/2 times, I'm sorry about this, guys, but I'll do times 19.5 times 19.5, which would give me, and I like to double check my work, guys, I'm using a calculator at home. All right, which would give me 190 and 125,000 feet squared. Now, this is the area of that whole triangle, but what we need to do is that we need to find the area of this balcony. Why? Because we need to add that balcony back into that shape, because the balcony is what's present, and I'm going to highlight the balcony in yellow so you guys know what I'm talking about. We found the area of this whole blue triangle right here. But now we need to add the balcony back in, which I know the balcony extends right here, but still, okay, it's just the estimate. We're finding the estimate. So to find the balcony, we'll do the area of a rectangle, which would be, because that's what that's the shape that it's kind of giving us, which would be 4 times 11, which would be 44 feet squared. Okay? And then I would have to take that away from 190, or we could add that in to our last results. Okay, so let's just save this to be last. So now, have this circle. So now what I want to do is I want to put my answer in a little block right here. Is what I want to do is I want to take my answers that I found and subtract it from my first answer. And here's what I mean. I want to do 1,360 square feet. I could, not worry about the units for right now. I'm going to subtract 96 feet. Then I'm going to subtract 38.5 feet squared. And then I'm going to subtract 190 and 125,000. And then I'm going to add that in, which I want to subtract all that first, and we're going to add this back in because that represents our balcony. So when I do that, I get, And you guys can be working on this at home. If you beat me, you beat me. Okay. So 1,360 minus 96 minus 38.5 minus 195. And then I got that. And now I want to, so I get this number, 1,035 and 375 thousandths. So what I want to do is I want to add that back in, which would be plus 44, which would give me 1,079 and 375,000 square feet. Now this, we can't say this is the exact number, okay? But they said they wanted an estimate. So what we're going to say is that the house square footage, I'm going to move my finger up. And they said that I want to use the area of the home. The area of the home is about, or we could put in parentheses, the approximate, or approximately, okay, 1,080 square feet. Okay. All right, guys. So if you have any questions about if you have any questions about this student task statement, make sure you visit your manager's Google Meet session. I'll see you guys in the next question. Okay.